All right. Welcome, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Corey Jones. I'm the Executive Director at Compassion Works for All here in Little Rock. And I'm so thankful to Jeannie and to Cal's for letting us host a meditation time the second and fourth Monday of every month. So if you're a long-term practitioner and you've been with us for a while, welcome back. If this is your first time, we're glad to have you. Just one note about Compassion Works for All. We provide meditation and mindfulness programs for people living in jails and prisons. And obviously right now, because of coronavirus, we're not able to get into those units to be with the people we are accustomed to being with on a regular basis. And so what we have started doing is putting all of our teachings onto DVDs that we're sending into the units that we've previously served. And from time to time, it's a fairly efficient process, but from time to time, it is nice to have financial support going into that. So right now we're doing a fundraiser where $5 sends 5 meditation DVDs into a jail or prison. It costs about $1 to produce and mail each one. So you can go to our website, compassionworksforall.org, and there are plenty of places on there where you can donate. If you'd like to give $5 to send 5 DVDs into a jail or prison, highly encourage you and invite you to do that. I'm just going to put our website into the chat real quick, and it's, I can't talk and type at the same time. Compassionworksforall.org. There we go. Compassionworksforall.org. If you would like to give, that's the place to go. So that's my pitch for today. This morning, I would love to talk about something called core negative image. Maybe you're familiar with this, but core negative image is when we are in conflict with someone and we immediately go to the worst version of them and we filter everything that they do and say through that lens, through the worst version of who they are or who we see them to be. So for example, if you have a spouse or a partner and the two of you find yourself in conflict a lot, whenever you are in an argument, you will go to their worst characteristic, to the thing that you hold over them the most, and filter all the things that they're doing and saying through that. And so then the argument becomes about, well, you're just lazy, or well, you're just selfish, or whatever, rather than what the thing is actually about. And we do this all the time, core negative image, not just with interpersonal relationships, but especially in the public discourse. So for example, right now during this time of coronavirus, for me, I have family, I have friends that I follow on social media who cover the spectrum with what they think about what's going on with COVID-19. And that ranges from this is terrible and we're not doing enough and our leaders ought to step up their game, all the way down to this is a mass conspiracy and we're all being duped. And it's just everywhere in between that everybody falls. And so whenever I see that a friend has posted something on Twitter or put a blog on Facebook or something, I immediately make an assumption about my judgment on what they're saying based on my core negative image of them, if it happens to be someone that I dislike. And so I go to the worst way that I see them and interpret everything they're doing and saying through that. So I hope that makes sense. And especially right now, as we're gearing up for political election season, we tend to fall into that whenever it comes to public figures and politicians. As soon as someone opens their mouth and starts to talk, or we hear that so-and-so has made a statement, we immediately get ourselves ready to either hear it and take it in and agree with it, or we get ourselves ready to disagree. Now, imagine if every time you engaged in a conversation with someone, they were ready to disagree with everything you said. That would be infuriating, and it would be very unproductive, and yet that's exactly what we do so often. All of that core negative image stuff is neurological. It lives in the amygdala of our brain, in that fear center, the fight, flight, or freeze center, the emotion center. It has all kinds of descriptors, but the amygdala in that limbic area is where our core negative image lives. And it gets us ready to react to people rather than receive or respond to what they're saying with logic and reason and compassion. Now, that's deep down in the subcortical region of our brain. And our hope is that we would get into the prefrontal area of our brain where logic and reasoning and empathy all live, so that we can get ourselves out of that core negative image and actually see people for who they are, for their good traits, see people or hear what people are saying and weigh it rationally and logically, rather than read our own biases into what they're saying and our reaction to it. So that's what I want to kind of put as our focus this morning before we begin our meditation time, and get you thinking about this idea of core negative image and the way that we are ready to react to people rather than respond. And that's a neurological wiring. Our brains have actually physically wired themselves so that whenever we hear someone's name, when we hear their voice, when we see their face, our brains go into defense mode immediately. And so we want to try to break that. We want to try to break that cycle, because ultimately what that leads us to is to be very, not just disagreeable, but it can lead to a lot of hateful stuff and a lot of judgmental attitudes toward people. And so if we want to challenge ourselves, and if we want to be people of compassion, people of empathy, people of logic and reason, and hold things out and examine them for what they are without judgment, then it's something that we have to practice and something we have to work at. And that's where meditation comes in a very big way, because with meditation, we put our focus on our breath or on some part of our body or on some part of our present awareness. And through that focus, we're able to rewire the structuring of our brain so that we live up in that prefrontal area where logic and reasoning and empathy are, rather than living in our amygdala all the time. So all of that to say, I'd like to begin our meditation time this morning with that in mind, and help us to access that prefrontal area rather than being defensive and ready to react all the time. So if you're good with that, before we move forward, if you have a question or a comment or a statement about that, anything that I can clarify, feel free to put that into the chat, and I'll give you just a moment to do that. And then we'll move into our meditation time. Jeannie, great message, Corey, especially during these times where there is so much division. Absolutely. And we can be a part of ending the division, not by making people agree with everything we say, but by actually being compassionate, reasonable, and rational. All right. Well, let's begin together. If you will start with your feet flat on the floor. Sit in a mindful posture, so upright but not rigid. And do your best not to slouch. And if you find yourself kind of giving in and you're not really paying attention to your posture, when you notice yourself slouching or slumping, just raise back up a little bit. Feet flat on the floor, attentive spine, your hands in a comfortable fold in your lap. I like to put my hands right on top of my legs. And let your shoulders fall away from your ears so that there's no tension or stress in your shoulders or neck. It might even help to roll your neck around, or roll your head around your neck one time just to loosen some things up. And come back to the center and let your jaw relax. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Sometimes it helps to let your tongue rest in the bottom of your mouth, or possibly put the tip of your tongue just on the back of your upper palate. And as you start to settle in, breathe in slowly through your nose. And you can either keep your eyes open or you can close them gently. But either way, let's begin with our breath. Go ahead and take a deep inhale through your nose and let your belly expand out like a balloon. And then once you've breathed in, hold your breath for just a moment. Let your torso relax and then breathe out through the mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale through the nose. Hold for just a moment. And let the torso relax and breathe out through the mouth. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in through the nose, deep into the belly. Hold for just a moment. Let the torso relax and breathe out through the mouth. And last time, breathe in deep through the nose. Hold for just a moment. Let everything relax and breathe out through the mouth. Now let your breath settle back into a normal rhythm, breathing in and out through your nose. And notice where the air is coming in and notice where it's coming out. Notice where you feel it the most. Maybe you feel it the most at the base of your nose near your nostrils. Maybe it's a cool sensation. Maybe you feel it in the back of your nose toward your sinuses. Maybe deep in your chest. As the air enters into your body, place your focus on that point where you notice it the most. And then as it leaves, follow it all the way to its end. And let your breath serve for just the next few moments as an anchor in the present moment, breathing in and breathing out. If you feel your mind coming untethered and floating into the past or drifting into the future, maybe going into some alternate reality, bring it back to your breath. And that's all you need to worry about right now. Is exactly what's happening in this moment, with the air passing in and the air going out. Just continue to breathe. Notice how your body feels as you're breathing. Notice if you have any stress anywhere, if you're tightening up. Breathe into that spot and let it go. Just keep your focus on your breath and on the present moment. Continue to breathe. You might not only be distracted by thoughts, but you might be distracted by sounds or things that are happening around you. And that's okay. You can receive those without straining or struggling to block them out. Just let them be part of your present reality. Welcome them in without judgment, without assigning positive or negative value to them. From time to time here in my office, a train goes by. And rather than trying to block it out or be annoyed at the loud sounds it makes, I welcome it into the present reality that I am at a train station. And this is what it means to be here now. So continue to breathe. Continue to place your focus and your attention on that point where the air enters your body, and then follow it all the way out to the end. If it helps, if you find that your mind is just too distracted, it might help to say, I am breathing in and I am breathing out. And repeat that to yourself over and over with every breath. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Welcome the present moment, everything that it involves. Welcome it without assigning positive or negative value, without any judgment. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Let your mind stay tethered to the present. Sometimes the way we break out of this core negative image that we have of people is through the practice of curiosity. Rather than assumptions or judgments, we engage with people with a curious mind. And so, as thoughts arise now, or as you hear things around you, maybe as you notice things in your body, explore it with curiosity. Where did that thought come from? What made that sound? Why did I suddenly get a tingling sensation? Let curiosity guide you, because curiosity is in our prefrontal area where logic and reasoning and empathy and compassion all live. And when we're curious rather than reactive, we empower ourselves to be more compassionate, to be more receptive. So spend the next few moments focused on your breath. And with a sense of curiosity, notice the things within you and around you. And let that draw your entire awareness into the present moment. Breathe and explore with curiosity. Now, as we begin to wrap up our time, Bring your mind into the present. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. Bring some awareness back to your body. Take one last deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. I hope that was helpful and gave you a moment to focus a bit, to access those parts of your brain that bring a little bit greater focus, a little bit greater clarity, but also more compassion and more openness to ourselves and to others. So does anyone have a question or comment about what we just went through?
I loved it. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad. All right. Well, I mean, that's all I have for today. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, then I guess our next one will be on August. I don't have my calendar here in front of me.
August 10th.
August
10th.
Yeah. All right. Great.
And I'll be, and if anybody, don't forget to email me if you need the link. And I've been trying to share it out as much as I can. So.
All right. Good deal. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.